So what started out this morning is nothing more than really a chance to get out and ride the monkey. Show you the monkey. The monkey. It's supposed to be kind of like a dreary day. No sun, kind of partly cloudy. And I really wasn't going to do any filming of any kind. But I figured, you know, everybody's done what they consider their version of their review of the Honda Monkey. And I know this is a fishing show, channel, I should say. But you know what? I figured, why not? I'll just give my take. Since I grew up with these things, what they were back then. And back then you couldn't ride them on the road. Well, you could, but you didn't tell anybody. Except your friends. You told your close friends and said, hey, guess what I did the other day? But that's a whole nother story. But I figured, you know what? I'm going to do some whipping around through some Colonial Parkway in Williamsburg, Jamestown, Yorktown, some small back roads. And let's just give our, and this is personal opinion, of what we think of the Honda Monkey. Other than it just looks cool. Let's go for a ride. I mean, why not? Oh, and by the way, I do have my fishing pole and some trout magnets in the backpack. Well, I wouldn't leave them without those. Let's go for a ride. Right now we are in Yorktown, Virginia. Let's see what's happening in Yorktown. So we're, excuse my helmet head, by the way. We're chilling here in Jamestown. We're doing the Colonial thing today. We started out in Yorktown. We buzzed through Colonial Williamsburg. And now we are in the Jamestown settlement area. Okay, it's absolute blast to ride. The only thing you got to really watch out for are roads where you get into speed limits that, though it's kind of capable of, like say, 50 to 55 miles an hour, because people aren't doing 50 and 55 miles an hour. So they'll get right on your tail, and kind of push you along more or less, but that's all right. Just do what you can do. What's happening, y'all? How about we talk some monkey business? First off, just let me say that this was a video that never really was supposed to even be. I don't want you to think that this is a review of this, because there are so many reviews on YouTube about the monkey that they'll blow me away, and they're more educated, have more knowledge on the machine than I have myself. So really what this is let's just call it a first impression. I took it riding this morning for the first time as far as any distance whatsoever. You'll notice that I'm hoarse. The wind and everything, and not to mention the amount of laughter that I got, and smiling from riding down the road on this thing. So let's just start out with, we went for a ride. Okay, left here and we went to Yorktown, Virginia, which is about 12 to 15 miles from here. Went through Yorktown, we went down the Colonial Parkway, which is an all aggregate road. It's a typical parkway type material, at least around here. And we went 15 miles from Yorktown into Williamsburg. We left out of Williamsburg and we ended up in Jamestown. We rode through there. We came back down the parkway from Jamestown, back into Williamsburg, all the way to Yorktown again, and back to a few scenic roads that are in Yorktown that are actually tour roads for the colonial part of Yorktown, the battlefield. And I never one time felt unsafe, if that makes any difference. I mean, you would think on something as small as this, intermingling yourself with traffic, you would feel slightly, but I wasn't. I never was. There were a couple people who I realized did not see me. I saw them. That right there is part of riding motorcycles. You have to be able to anticipate the unanticipatable. Be aware, you know, slow down, maybe take a good look, maybe blow your horn, whatever you want to do, flash your light, whatever. Be aware no matter what you're on. I don't care if you're on a Ninja, if you're on a Heritage Softail, or you're on a Monkey. Be aware when you're out riding, especially when you're on something that's a little smaller and people may just not see you. I never felt unsafe on this at all. I got it up to 55 a couple of times, and if you barely wiggle the wheel, oh yeah, she'll wiggle. And that has a lot to do with, one, the size of the wheel, size of the tire, and running that amount of speed while being on this smaller tire. But it never felt unstable at all, okay? There's always going to be pluses and negatives. Pluses and negatives? Is that even right? I think it could, would I have said positives and subtractions? No, but I should have said pluses and I should have said, there's going to be things about it you like and things you don't, okay? That's just how it works. You can't over expect from it, okay? And what I mean by that is little things, and we're going to talk about that right now. One of those little things is, simple thing, glare on the speedometer, okay? There is a glare that comes over the speedometer that you really struggle to sometimes see how fast you're going, how much gas you have, whatever. Is that a big deal? No, not really. Is that a negative? No. It's just don't expect too much, okay? That's all it is. In between 35 and 45 in fourth gear, that's when this thing starts reaching a little bit outside of its world, and you feel a little bit of an engine vibration that from 35 back you don't feel, okay? That's going to be natural, okay? You got one little old piston down there that's going, ah! Okay, that's just how it is. So you're going to get a little bit of vibration. It's no big deal. Doesn't bother me. As far as any other negatives to it, you can feel where you would want a little more power, but there are so many modifications and additional add-ons and upgrades to this thing. You can get that. You can get that. What it did today is all I needed to do. Me and it go out, buzzing around town, having a blast, maybe go do some exploring, go do some little bit of trail riding here and there. That's all I needed to do. But can you customize this thing to death? Oh, yes, you can. I would like to have a rear luggage rack, which they make for it, to be able to put stuff on it. Today I rode with my backpack, and I had a small backpack with my camera stuff, a hat, another shirt, a small fishing pole, just in case, and some trout magnets. And we didn't really do any fishing, but it was there if I wanted to. Today was really about getting out on it and going, putting some miles on it. Speaking of miles, let's just see. Okay, I don't have the key on me, so we can't just see right now. The key is in the house. Is there another negative? Not really. One stupid thing was I do find myself sliding forward on the seat. Not much, but sliding nevertheless. And after a while of that sliding and pushing back and sliding and pushing back, your underwear tends to become a cotton chainsaw. You know what I mean? So, you know, at a stoplight, you kind of have to put it in neutral and stand up and adjust yourself. But is that a negative? No, not in any way, shape, or form. It's just one of those things you notice because you're on it. And again, like I said, today, this was my first impression of getting out on it and going, just going. I'm pretty sure that we probably put around 85 miles on it, somewhere in there. And it performed flawlessly. Now, there were a couple of times when I downshifted at a stoplight or whatever, it didn't go all the way in gear. I had to do it again. I have heard tell of these doing that as a break-in period. The transmissions, they do tend to do that and it'll break in and go away. Let's just hope that's what happens. I hope it does. Did it bother me? No, didn't bother me a bit. Didn't bother me a single bit. My initial reasoning behind this particular, not review, just impression of the bike, is for people that may have been out there going, man, I'd like to get one of them, but I just don't know. Well, I pulled the trigger. If you watch my channel, I'm a fishing channel per se. I do some different things. I do other things. I don't just fish. I do some other things. But what I'm trying to do is, if that person is out there that just can't make their mind up, from a guy who's been riding big V twins and Triumph Bonnevilles and you know, all kinds of Harleys, from Sportsters, Heritage, Springer, Dyna, old choppers, 68 Sportsters and 74s, whatever, you get the idea. To jump on this little guy and go buzzing off today around town and further was an absolute scream. I mean, I had a blast. I had an absolute blast. It was so much fun. I was in traffic. It didn't matter. I was on quiet back roads. It didn't matter. It just was an absolute blast. I'm sitting here right now wanting to get on this thing and go again. If you're thinking about getting one and you have the ability to get one, they are a little pricey. You're looking at $4,900 probably out the door. But I'm going to tell you what, I don't think you can put a price on the amount of fun I had today, and the last couple days, as a matter of fact. I know people that spend that kind of money going to Disney and come back aggravated, mad. I didn't get to see this. I stood in line. I'm hot. This, that, and the other. The kids were mad, and they spent that money and can't get that back. They've got nothing to show for it except a picture that they got off of Space Mountain when they were going through the tunnel. It looks like, you know, that's what they have for all the money that they spent. I have this. And I put my arm up around this thing because he's my buddy. It's the best way I can explain it. And today he proved himself that we can go out and have a blast. I did not make a bad decision. That's my my impression, my first impression of this little guy right here. The 2020 Honda Monkey 125. This is a 2020. Obviously it's 2021 now. But it was new when I got it. It only had 2 miles on it. So everything I put on it from here is up to me. Everything that I do with it is up to me. Every adventure that we have is going to be up to me. And we're going to have some. So if you're thinking about it, stop thinking. If your wife is with you and she's watching, or maybe it is a wife or your significant other or whatever, and they're looking, going, cut that guy off, you're not getting a Honda Monkey. I don't think you'll regret it. Personal opinion, but I don't. So hey, thanks for riding along with me today. Thanks for this elongated, or sitting with me during this elongated spiel about this guy. I'm sorry it's not a review, but there's plenty of them on there that'll give you every spec from chain tighten to the type of oil that goes in it, you know, whatever. That's out there already. This is just one guy talking to however many are watching, saying, it's cool, it's fun, I enjoy it, I think you will too. Thanks for watching.